Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another video of Chem Solve. In this video, we will solve Cambridge IGCSE Chemistry Paper 2, that is multiple choice. The code for this paper is 0620/21 October-November 2025. So let's start the paper. Okay, so the question number 1 says, a sealed balloon contains air. The temperature of the balloon is increased. Which row describe how the pressure in the balloon and the kinetic energy of the particle in the air changes? So let's see what is the relationship of the temperature with pressure and kinetic energy. Temperature is basically directly proportional to pressure at constant volume, and temperature is also directly proportional to kinetic energy of the particle. So if we are increasing the temperature, it means pressure would also increase and kinetic energy would also increase. Both of them will increase. So option A says pressure decreases. Of course not. Decreases, not. It says kinetic energy decreases. No. It says pressure decreases. No. So I will choose the answer D. This is the correct option, because with the increase of temperature, both the pressure and the kinetic energy will increase. I hope it makes sense to you. Okay, now the next question. Ammonia gas is reacted with the hydrogen chloride. So ammonia is NH3 and hydrogen chloride is HCl. Okay. So are using the apparatus shown. Solid ammonium chloride. Ammonium chloride is NH4Cl. Cotton wool is soaked here in aqueous ammonia, and here it is soaked in aqueous hydrogen chloride. Which statement explain why the solid ammonium chloride is formed nearer to the hydrogen chloride? So for that we need to look at their molar masses, and we know that molar mass is indirectly proportional to rate of diffusion. It means higher the molar mass, lower will be the rate of diffusion. All right. So let's calculate the molar masses. Nitrogen is 14 and hydrogen is 1, but there are 3 hydrogens, so 14 plus 3, that will make 17. HCl, hydrogen is 1 and Cl is 35.5, so 1 plus 35.5, it makes 36.5. Okay, so it's mean the molar mass of ammonia is less, so it would have greater rate of diffusion. And it has the higher molar mass, so it would have lower rate of diffusion. Now keeping this thing in our mind, let's look at the option. Option A says aqueous ammonia is a base and aqueous hydrogen chloride is a solid, is an acid. Yes, this statement is correct, but it is nothing to do with the question. So we will not choose option A. Ammonia molecule diffuses more slowly than hydrogen chloride molecule. We just have discussed that ammonia has the lower molar mass, so it would have the greater rate of diffusion. And it says that it will diffuse slowly. No, this is not correct. Hydrogen chloride has a greater molar mass than ammonia. Yes, clearly hydrogen chloride has 36.5 mass and ammonia has 17 mass. So this option seems to correct. But look at the option D as well. Only ammonia molecule diffuse in all direction. Not at all. Hydrogen chloride is also a gas according to the question. So it will also diffuse. Both the gases will diffuse. So C is the correct option. Question number 3. The table shows the information about the 4 elements So we are provided with the particle, their nucleon number, their number of proton, number of neutron, and number of electron. So what we need to calculate? We need to calculate all of these things. So look at option for Na. Number of neutron. Okay. So if we look at the periodic table, you will see that here there are two things. This is called proton number. This is called mass number. Always proton and electron number is same if no charge. Okay. And how to get the neutron number? By subtracting mass number from proton number or atomic number. So we will keep these things in our mind and we will solve this question. So for Na it is 23 and 11, and for oxygen you can see it is 8 and 16. So it is 8 and 16. So Na has clearly 11 proton. It has 11 electron because no charge. Nucleon number is 23 and neutron number would be 23 minus 11. So it would be 12. It should be 12. Okay. Option A and B says it is 11. So this is wrong. We should choose either C or D. Na positive. It means one electron has been lost. So nucleon number is 23, proton number is 11, neutron number is 12, and it should be 11 minus 1. One electron is less, so it should be 10. So it says 12, 12, it says 10, and it says 11. Clearly the option is C, but I will look at the other as well. Oxygen. Okay, this is 16, proton number is 8, neutron number is 16 minus 8. It would be 8 here. So it is 8 and it says 10, so it is wrong. Now the last one. So nucleon number is 16, proton number is 8, neutron number is also 8, and number of electron, 2 electron has been added to it. So previously there were 8, now we have added 2, so it is 10 overall. It says 10, it says 8, so for sure the option is C. Question number 4. Substances with giant covalent structure can be used as lubricant and cutting tools for the hard material. Okay, the diagram shows how the atoms are arranged in two giant covalent substances, P and Q. So just look, what is P? P is graphite. We should be familiar with the structure. And this is diamond, the tetrahedral structure. And this is hexagonal layer structure. This is soft and this is hard. And as it is hard, it is used as a cutting tool. While it is soft, it is used as a lubricant. So look at options. Okay. Option A says only P is used as a cutting tool. Q is used as a lubricant. No. P is used as a lubricant and Q is used as a cutting tool. So this is wrong. Only P is used as a lubricant and Q is used as a cutting tool. Yes, this is the correct option. Look at the C and D as well. P and Q are both used as a cutting tool? Of course not. P and Q are both used as a lubricant? Of course not. Question number 5. Symbols represent the particles shown. The letters are not the chemical symbols. Which particles have the same number of the neutrons? Okay, so we just have discussed in the previous question that for the calculation of the neutron number, what we have to do, we have to subtract the atomic number from the mass number. So 40 minus 20, this is 20, and 41 minus 20, that is 21. Now 18 minus 37, so 37 minus 18, this is 19, and here 37 minus 17, this is also 20. So clearly we have to choose Z and W. So this makes option B. Okay, so question number 6. Which statement describes the formation of the bond in lithium bromide? First of all, we have to look that what type of the bond is here in lithium bromide. Okay, so lithium, you know, is a metal and bromine is a non-metal. When a metal bond with a non-metal, the nature of the bond is ionic. So ionic bond will form here. How the ionic bond forms? Metal gives electron, non-metal accept electron, it gains positive charge, it gains negative charge, and there is electrostatic force of attraction between them. So option A says a lithium atom donates electron. Yes, metals donate electrons. And bromine, it gains electron. Yes, it seems to correct. But look at the other option as well. Bromine donates. No, bromine is a non-metal. It will accept. So wrong. Lithium shares. No, in ionic bonding there is no sharing. There is complete transfer of the electron from one atom to another atom. A bromine atom donate? No, bromine accept because it's a non-metal. So clearly option A is the correct one. Question number 7. Which statement explain why solid magnesium is a good conductor of electricity? You know, magnesium is a metal. And metal have delocalized electrons like this. It have positive ions and electrons are here. So metals have delocalized electrons. So we have to choose that option. Magnesium has delocalized electron that can move through the lattice. Clearly this is the correct option. Magnesium has strong attraction between the ions. No, positive metal ion and electrons, not only ions. So this is wrong. Magnesium consists of the giant lattice of the anion in the sea of delocalized electron. Cations, not anions. Positive ions are immersed in the sea of electrons. Magnesium consists of the metal ions that can move through the lattice. No, electrons move throughout the lattice. So this is also the incorrect option. Question number 8. The equation for the reaction between dilute ethanoic acid and aqueous sodium hydroxide is shown. So we have 20 centimeter of 0.05 mole per dm cube of aqueous lithium hydroxide is exactly neutralized by 12.5 cm cube of the dilute ethanoic acid. Which statement is correct? The amount of lithium hydroxide is equal to this. Okay, so we need to use a formula here, and that is concentration is equal to mole over volume in dm cube. So for option A, concentration is 0.050 amount, mole we have to find out. Volume in DMQ. So volume is 20 here. So 20 divided by 1000 is 0.02. I will put 0.02 here. Okay, he doesn't converted it, so I will just write it as such. I'm not gonna convert it because in option they are not being converted. So that would be 20 divided by 1000. It will move there. So 0.050 multiplied by 20 divided by 1000. But option says 1000 divided by 20. So this is wrong one. The amount of ethanoic acid reacted is this. Okay. So for that, we have to calculate the concentration of the ethanoic acid first. For that, I will use a formula. M1V1 over N1 is equal to M2V2 over N2. These are for acid and these are for base. M1 is the concentration of the acid that I need to find out. V1 is the volume of the acid, that is 12.5. Number of moles in the balanced chemical equation are 1. M2 is the concentration of the base, that is 0.050. Volume of the base is 20 and the number of moles are 1. So clearly M1 is equal to 0.050 multiplied by 20 divided by 12.5. So let's find it out. 0.050 multiplied by 20 divided by 12.5. So this is 0.08. Okay. The amount of ethanoic acid used is 0. So I got the moles of the concentration of the ethanoic acid is 0.08. Now I will put again this formula for ethanoic acid. So concentration is equal to mole over volume in DMQ. Concentration is 0.08. Mole I need to find out. Volume is 12.5. So 12.5 divided by 1000 is 0.0125. 0.0125. 0.08 multiplied by 0.0125 is equal to mole. Okay. Multiply by 0.08. So this is 0.001. That exactly match with our answer. So this is the correct option. B is the correct option. Okay, I hope you understood it. This calculation, this one, this is for option A, and this whole calculation, this is for option B. So now look at question number 9. The molecular formula of the 4 compound are listed. Which molecular formula are also the empirical formulas for the compound? Okay, so CH4 is already the simplest one. No need to convert it into more easy, more simpler one. So I think it is not our option. Okay, so C2H6 can be simplified as CH3. It could be our option. C3H8, we cannot have any simple ratio between them. I think this is not our option as well. And C3H6, it could be simplified as CH2. So these two have different molecular formulas and empirical formulas. In blue color, I wrote their empirical formula while their molecular formula are already written. But these two, CH4 and C3H8, their molecular and empirical formulas are same. So clearly our option is B. Question number 10. The equation for the reaction between copper oxide and ammonia is given. This is a equation. Which statement about this reaction is correct? So let's see the correct options. 80 gram of the copper oxide. So copper is, the MR is 80. So this is here 80 multiplied by 3. React with 17 gram of ammonia. The molar mass of ammonia is 17, so it is 17 multiplied by 2 here. But examiner saying that 80 gram of the copper oxide react with 17 gram of the ammonia, while according to the equation, 80 multiplied by 3 of the copper oxide react with 17 multiplied by 2 of the aqueous ammonia. So clearly this statement is incorrect. Now look at the other statements. 4 gram of the copper oxide react with ammonia to produce the 3.2 gram of the copper. So according to our calculation, 4 gram of the copper react with ammonia to produce 3.2 gram of the copper. So copper is here. Okay. Copper oxide is 4 gram. Okay. So let's calculate. 80 multiplied by 3 is 240. So we have for option 2. This was for statement 1. It is 240 copper oxide here, and copper is 64. So 64 multiplied by 3. This is 192 here. Okay. So 240 and 192. Now look at the relationship, if we can make any simple ratio. So if I divide both of them on 60, for example, so 240 divided by 60 is 4. Okay. Let's see if 192 divided by 60 gives what answer? 192 divided by 60, it exactly makes 3.2. So this matches with the statement, so it seems to be the correct. Okay. Now look at statement 3. The mass of the water produced in this reaction is greater than the mass of the nitrogen. So water is producing 3 multiplied by 18. 18 is the MR of the water, while nitrogen is producing only, this is only 1 now. So 14 is the MR of the nitrogen, and there are 2 nitrogen, so 14 multiplied by 2. This is 28, and 18 multiplied by 3 is 54. So this is 54. Water is 54 gram and nitrogen is 28 grams. So clearly this option is also correct. So option D is the correct one. Now look at question number 11. How many atoms are present in 1 mole of the argon? Okay. So 1 mole of any of substance is equal to 6.02 10 raised to power 23. That is the Avogadro constant. So if there is 1 mole of the argon, that it contains the Avogadro number of the particle, and that is C over here. Okay, question number 12. Aqueous copper sulfate is electrolyzed using copper electrode. Which statement are correct? So let's make our own electrode equation first, then we will look at the correct statement. So at anode, what happens? It is made up of the copper, right? So copper loses electron and it changes into copper positive 2. Copper is pink and copper positive 2 is blue, right? Okay, and what happens at cathode? Copper positive 2 ions move there, they get their electron, they get reduced and they form copper. So blue color changes into pink again. It means there is no overall change in concentration as well as color, because both reactions are opposite to each other. In first, copper is converted into copper positive 2 ion and then copper positive 2 ion again converted into copper. So there is no overall change in the color. Pink changes into blue and then blue again changes into pink. So no change in the color and no change in the concentration. Oxygen is produced at the positive electrode. Of course not. Oxygen is not producing at all. We can see blue color of the solution gradually fades. We just said that no overall change in the concentration as well as the color. So this is also incorrect. The concentration of the copper ion in the solution stays the same. It seems to be correct. The mass of the negative electrode decreases. The mass of the positive electrode decreases instead. You can see here, copper dissolved to form the copper ions. So this is incorrect as well. C is the correct option. Question number 13. Which row describes the reaction during the electrolysis of the aqueous sodium chloride? Okay, so let's make our own equation. It would have Na positive ions and it would have H positive ions and it would have Cl minus 1 ions and it would have OH minus 1 ions. So what happens at anode? Anode is positive, so it will attract negative ions. So which negative ion will move here? Because it is dilute. So for dilute, always remember, always OH negative ion gets discharged. So clearly OH negative ion will move there and this equation will take place there. And for positive, we look from the bottom of the reactivity series. The ion that comes first from the bottom, it will get discharged. So at cathode, what happens? H positive ion will go there. They will get the electron and they will change into hydrogen gas. Now keeping these two equations in our mind, it is obvious that the correct option is option D. Question number 14. Information about the two reactions are given to us. So the neutralization reaction between the citric acid and the sodium hydrogen carbonate is endothermic. Okay. The displacement reaction between magnesium and carbon dioxide is exothermic. Okay. So which statement about the two reactions are correct? The energy of the product. First reaction is endothermic. Okay, so the energy of the product formed in the neutralization reaction is greater than the energy of the reactant. Endothermic reaction tend to absorb the energy. So that's why the energy of the product must be greater than the reactant, because reactant have gained the energy to give the product. That's why the energy of the product should be greater than the reactant. So this is the correct statement. Okay, next is exothermic. So the energy of the magnesium and the carbon dioxide is greater than the energy of the magnesium oxide and the carbon. Magnesium oxide and carbon, they are the product and these are the reactant. Exothermic reaction tends to lose the energy, tends to release the energy. So the energy of the reactant are more than the product. So this is also the correct statement. Okay, in exothermic reactions, the energy required to break down the molecule is greater than the energy released when the new bonds are formed. Exothermic reaction again tend to lose the energy. So energy released should be more than the energy gained. So this is incorrect. The correct statement is option B. 15. So we have to label the energy profile diagram. This is from this is they are the reactant, it is the product. So this is activation energy and this is enthalpy change. So we have to choose, and 3 is nothing. So 1 is, so 3, all the option containing 3 is wrong. They are all wrong. 1 is activation energy and 2 is delta H, the enthalpy change. So A is the correct option. So look at question number 16 now. It says hydrogen peroxide solution decomposes very slowly at room temperature to produce the oxygen gas. So let me write down the equation for that. H2O2, it gives hydrogen and oxygen like this. The gas forms rising foam when liquid detergent is added. 5 test tubes are half filled with the hydrogen peroxide solution. A drop of the liquid detergent is added to each one. Different metal oxide are added to the 4 of the test tube, and the height of the foam formed after the 1 minute is measured. The result are shown. Okay, so the height is least with these two, and height is most with this one. It means this is the most effective one because it raises the foam to the maximum. So for this reaction, it acts as a catalyst. It speeds up the reaction. Metal oxide do not affect the rate of this reaction. They are affecting clearly, because first two that is 0.1, then it increases to 0.2. With copper it increases to 2.3, and with manganese 4 oxide it is even 5.4. So they are clearly affecting. This is incorrect. All metal oxide increase the rate of reaction and act as a catalyst. No, catalyst is the one which increases the rate of the reaction. So they are not equally increasing the rate of reaction. Manganese oxide is the best catalyst of the 4 metal. Yes. Only transition metal oxide increases the rate of the reaction. Not at all. So this is also incorrect. The correct option is C. Which equation represents one of the reaction in the contact process? Contact process is basically for the production of sulfuric acid. So what happens? S plus O2 gives us SO2, and then what happens? That SO2 react with more oxygen to form, this is irreversible basically. Sorry, this is reversible. SO3, then this SO3 is showered with sulfuric acid. It produces oleum, and this oleum is then diluted with water and it produces sulfuric acid. So clearly this matches with option A. It says aqueous. No, it's not aqueous, it's a gas. So A seems to be the correct option. Okay, question number 18. The ionic equation for the redox reaction between acidified magnesium 7 oxide and the iodide ions are shown. Which row shows the changes in the oxidation number of the manganese and for the iodine during the reaction? So let's calculate. Okay, so for manganese, oxygen is -2. There are 4 oxygens. So it is -8. We need overall -1. So I need to put 7 here. -8 plus 7, -1 overall. Iodine is -1 here. Manganese is +2 here, clearly shown. And iodine is 0 because in free state they are 0. So Mn changes from +7 to +2, while iodide changes from -1 to 0. So it matches with -7 and +2, +7 and +2, and then -1 and 0. So clearly the correct option is C. Okay, so question number 19. In the Haber process, nitrogen and hydrogen react to form the ammonia. So change in the pressure. Okay, when pressure is increased, reaction move towards lesser number of moles of gas. Okay, so we have to move towards ammonia, like we want the reaction to move in forward direction. If we want the reaction to move towards forward direction, and here are only 2 number of moles, and here are 1 nitrogen, 3 hydrogen, 4 number of moles, so we want the reaction to move towards lesser number of moles. If we want reaction to move towards lesser number of moles, then we have to increase the pressure. So A and B are not our option. We have to choose between C or D. Okay, next information is this reaction is exothermic. For exothermic reaction, what is the rule? Exothermic reactions move in forward direction when temperature is decreased, because exothermic means release of heat. So if we want them to move in the forward direction, we have to release the heat. So the temperature is being decreased. That's why C seems to be the correct option. Question number 20. Which statement describes the property of the ethanoic acid? So what is ethanoic acid? Ethanoic acid is basically a weak acid. And what are weak acids? Weak acids partially ionizes in aqueous solutions. This is the definition of the weak acid. They do not fully ionizes. They only partially or incompletely ionizes. So it does not produce carbon dioxide when added to sodium carbonate. It does because it's an acid. So this statement is incorrect. It does not produce hydrogen when added to magnesium. It does because it's an acid again. So when any acid is added to the metal, it will produce hydrogen, except the one which are below in the reactivity series. It only donates some of its protons when added to excess sodium hydroxide. Yes, it donates some of its proton when it is added to water. So this is also incorrect. The correct statement seems to the D. It only partially dissociated when added to water. Yes. So we have completed this paper till question 20. We'll complete the rest of the paper in the next video, inshallah. Thank you for watching. Allah Hafiz.